Isn't a great breath a powerful thing? Yes, it is. And we've talked a lot about stress and what it does to our health, but breathing is one of the great tools we can have available to us all the time to help mitigate and decrease the stress in our lives so that we can regain kind of our balanced, relaxed state so that we can be operating at a greater level of health and a greater level of composure throughout our day rather than going from one stress event to another stress event to letting that anxiety build and build and build until we get thrown into this big can of worms at the end of the day, and it's no wonder we can't sleep at night. So let's learn how to breathe, slow things down, and kind of de-stress our bodies. So the breath. The breath has been a tool in a variety of meditation practices, yoga practices for eternity because it is a really, really cool thing that normally our body does for us. So when we're in an anxious state, we're going to be just breathing at a higher rate, not because we choose to breathe that way, just because that's how our body is telling us to breathe. If we're in a relaxed, sleeping state, we're going to be in a slower state. And the cool thing about breath is we can control it. And because of biofeedback, the way that works in our bodies, is if we are in an anxious state and we slow our breathing down, we can decrease that anxiety through a biofeedback mechanism to help get that stress reduced. And so let's learn how to breathe. First off, obviously, there's an inhale. We take air in. And what is the common fault here is if this is our person and this is our spine, and we take that air in, we tend to breathe vertically with our chest. We go, we lead with our chest. We show our strong chest to the world. We don't want to kind of increase our belly because we're conscious about that. But in reality, that's not very effective. So our lungs, the smallest portion of them is in the top third. And also due to gravity, there's more blood in the larger, deeper portions of our lungs. And so instead of leading with our lungs, what we actually need to do is we need to pull that air down deep into our full lung. And then as we do that, we're going to lead with our diaphragm. And actually what's going to happen is our whole sternum, when we breathe, it's going to move out like this. Yes, the chest will expand, but it's going to be like a billow for a fire. We're going to expand this way. And this is going to pull air all the way down into the deep portions of our lung where we can circulate more oxygen more effectively with more blood. Okay, so that is the inhale. That's what we want to do there. Now, what the next problem is people jump right into the exhale. And in actual reality, there's a rest phase. So we take an inhale and we just let that air sit for a second. We let it sit in that lung. We let that gas exchange happen. We become grateful for that breath. And then we move, of course, into the exhale. And that's where we do the opposite of this. This is our spine again. And we're pulling that air all the way down. We are going to lead with our stomach, and we are going to push that air out from the bottom of our lung back out. We want to get rid of all that carbon dioxide that's been building up in our bodies, all of those different kind of byproducts that are those gaseous byproducts that can build up. Carbon dioxide being number one, of course, and eliminating that from our body. And so we want to inhale and then lead with our diaphragm again and compress that tummy and breathe out. Okay, and so for the inhale again, we want to be breathing through our nose here. And then with the rest phase we're holding, and then for the exhale, depending on what's going on, I'm going to recommend you either exhale out of your mouth or exhale out of your nose. Now there's different kind of premises for this. So the inhale through the nose, we want to inhale through the nose so we filter the air. Okay, for the exhale, if we are trying to greatly slow our exhale down and chill ourselves out a little bit, when we lengthen our exhale time, we start to slow our nervous system down. We start to de-stress the body. And so if we breathe out the mouth, there's no resistance there. It just goes out. If we are able to slow our exhale down and just let that, let that air just kind of fall out of us, we're able to greatly lengthen our exhale. Because it's not only the stages of breathing, it's the timing of the breath. And so if we want to stay neutral, if we're kind of happy where we're at, and we just want to kind of let things continue to be, our inhale will be equal with our exhale. Okay? If we are in a more anxious state, or let's start with the other one. If we're more in a depressed state and we are getting ready to come up on like a competition for a game, or we're getting ready to kind of go into an interview and we want to be like, oh, competition mode, ready to rock. We want to elevate our state. We want to increase our energy. We want to increase our vibrancy. We're going to want to lengthen our inhale as opposed to our exhale. And so we're going to go, and what this is going to do is it's going to elevate our consciousness. It's going to kind of get us into a higher, more reactive state. But most commonly, however, I want to do the exact opposite. Most people are overstressed, overburdened. And so what we want to do is we want to take an inhale, an appropriate inhale, but then we want to greatly lengthen our exhale. Okay? And so an example would be if you're at a 2-second inhale, you're going to rest for a second, and then you're going to exhale for 4, and then you're going to rest for a second. So when we add this up, we're at 8 seconds, okay? The more you do this, and you can get apps like this, they're called breath timers. Just go to your app store and look up breath timer, and you'll find there's lots of great examples of these. But just go to a breath timer, and then even the good ones, they'll let you customize the time lengths for each of these so that you can start to learn the power of your breath. And so with our breathing, if we're able to slow it down, so we're taking between 5 and maybe even like 5 to 10 breaths per minute, we're going to be able to greatly de-stress and slow down our body. And so if we're walking in a state of chronic stress all the time and it's starting to have significant impacts on your health, one of the best tools you can do anywhere, you can do this anywhere, you don't need to see a provider, you don't need to see a chiropractor, even though I highly recommend that, you can do this in any situation. So it's really, really cool, is simply just controlling this and really lengthening that exhale and calming your body down and going through that inhale, rest, exhale, rest cycle. This is going to greatly relax your body, and it is an awesome tool that we use all the time, and I get my patients to use it all the time so that they can calm down, regain composure, sleep better at night, and elevate their health. I look forward to serving you in the future.